Get groceries delivered to your door in as fast as an hour with Instacart. They handpick fresh groceries from your local store and let you shop multiple stores in a single order. Use our link to get free delivery on your first order over $35. Just visit cart.simpsonsiblings.com or check out the link in the description.
Hey guys, this is Sari Torres.
And this is Sean.
And we're the Simpsons siblings. And we're going to talk about Thanksgiving stuff.
Because it's Thanksgiving time.
Yes. And so, of course, we're going to cover Thanksgiving of Horror. And you know what? It's been a year just about since we started this. Because our first episode was Bart versus Thanksgiving.
Yeah. I remember how nervous we were the first time we were recording.
I know. Now we're all loosey-goosey. We're just kind of chilling. Yes. And we should mention that for patrons only, big shout out and thank you to Timothy Burleson. You can actually watch us record this, which is weird.
It must be a treat to watch.
Oh, I bet it is. So definitely check that out. We are at patreon.com/SimpsonsSibs, all one word. There'll be a link in the description, all that good stuff. All right, then. So let's go ahead and get started. This is Thanksgiving of Horror, Season 31, Episode 8. Originally aired on November 24th, 2019. It was directed by Rob Oliver and written by Dan Weber. And our special guest star is Charlie Brooker as the social media app voice. I think he gets like one line.
Wait. We'll wait till we get there.
Okay.
Yeah.
And
I know I usually go over like the intros and stuff, but for this one, it's kind of the cold start that they used with a lot of Halloweens in the past.
yeah.
It has that Marge disclosure Halloween feel.
Yep.
But it's fun having that for Thanksgiving.
Yeah, and in front of the sort of, I was gonna say velvet robe, but it's really just like velvet robe, the velvet curtains, and it's kind of interesting because she mentions that they're doing this because of the grim specter of everything. And I wrote after that 2020 question mark.
Yeah, and it's funny because when you were looking up all the details for when it aired, you saw the year and you're like, And I was like, I know what you're thinking. Like, it's very ominous, and it's just like Marge is just like, the world's gone to crap.
Could this be like the whole Simpsons predicting the future thing? Because this was like November 2019 was like 4 months before everything really kind of went to crap. Yeah. And
I don't even know. COVID wasn't really, it was like a sub thing on the bottom of the news.
Yeah, it would be like news coverage number 5 or 6. They'd be like, oh yeah, there's this thing called COVID, we don't know about it,
3 people have it.
Yeah, it's so, wow, that's weird to hear that, because the moment she said this, I was like, this had to have been last year, but it wasn't.
Yeah,
so
that was really weird.
That was weird. Yeah, so she's got a little bit of a warning, but she's mostly just kind of talking, and then we get Kang and Kodo showing up. Is this not how colonizers dress?
Your oppressive colonizers dress.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, so that was great. This is the only time Kang and Kodo have shown up in a non-Halloween episode, except for that one where they showed up not Halloween, which does not hold up. It's like season 25 or something.
Oh, okay.
And I rewatched it the other day, and I was like, this doesn't hold up. Which is sad, because it's like a good, concept, but...
Yeah. Now
I digress. We have the whole thing about Homer asking what time's dinner.
Yeah.
Which, is a very cromulent question, because, I have... I usually have lunch with my in-laws and then dinner with my parents on Thanksgivings, and it's like, but you still call the lunch dinner.
Well, and it just being Thanksgiving just embiggens the meaning of it.
Yes, embiggens the biggest turkey. Yes, very very cromulent. And I mean, really, when is Thanksgiving dinner? You just eat it. Or is the dinner is the whole day? You just eat it the whole time.
It's weird. Like, you wake up and you don't want to eat too much for breakfast.
Yeah.
But there's pastries out everywhere, so you
Yeah.
overeat, and then...
Yeah. And
then you eat at, like, 2. And...
yeah, I mean... I wonder how this episode would be to someone not from America or Canada, because they have Thanksgiving too.
Or other families too, because some families might do like a 6-7 p.m. dinner and have like a small lunch, but we just start cooking first thing in the morning.
We just
and
eat the whole day.
We just we just eat when it's ready.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, and I absolutely love it's weird because this episode has a lot of really adorable moments, like mixed in with a bunch of blood and gore.
Yeah.
And the adorable moments are really cute, and one of them is when they show the title Thanksgiving of Horror, and then Santa's little helper eats like the gravy because it's made out of the gravy, and then Homer comes and eats more of the gravy, and it's just cute.
And I kind of expected it to turn to, they've growled over like pork chops and stuff before. I expected it to be like a fighting over the gravy thing, but they just kind of like were peaceful and took turns. And...
because it was the spirit of Thanksgiving, Sean.
Yes.
And we're gonna move on to a Gobblepto, which is a spoof on Apocalypto, which was like a movie that came out in like 2006 or something.
Yeah.
So that was weird, but I mean, they thought of a good name for it, and plus, I think that's something that actually exists in like actual terminology, and I did not look that up at all. But yeah,
who needs research?
I think this was my favorite out of the 3 segments. I liked them all, but this one was my favorite.
I think so too.
Yeah, it's man, I've said this before, and I'll say it again. The main thing that can make me laugh is just someone saying something stupid in a stupid voice. And that's pretty much most of this.
That's the whole thing.
That's like the whole gimmick here. Because they're all speaking in gobbling. And,
is that an actual word?
Gobbling. I mean, gobbling is a word, but I don't know if you would consider that a language yet.
Ooh.
But yeah, it's like, it seems, I wonder how they determined who was going to be the turkeys and who was going to be the pilgrims in this.
They all seem to do an equally good job of doing the turkey voice.
Yeah. I wonder if it was just a matter of them being like, which voice actors are better at doing the turkey voice? You're going to be the turkeys. And obviously the main family, too.
Well, it would have been hard to do. Like, Quimby.
Yeah.
It would have been really hard to do.
And he makes sense as, like, the hunter in this. Which he's legitimately scary in this.
Yeah.
Like,
especially with some of the animation they pull off in this episode.
Jeez. Yeah, I was thinking, well, it's Thanksgiving and not Halloween. It's not going to be as gory. It was almost more gory.
Yeah.
Which, I'm glad I didn't watch this with my 7-year-old. But Bart's gobble laugh is hilarious. Homer's gobble dough. The part with Flanders.
Or his why you little.
Yeah. Yeah. And they're like, oh my gosh, just A+ voice acting across the board. Flanders comes up and talks to him, and you can tell he's talking about something stupid. And then Homer, like, rolling his eyes and making a gobble. It's great.
I also have to say I love Bird Bart again. Kind of like the Raven.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. There was a little bit... I didn't even think of that. I wonder if they kind of tweaked that design a little bit.
Yeah, because it worked so well for that other
Ooh,
podcast episode.
I want to draw that now. Ooh. I'm going to try to draw that. But yeah, Treehouse of Horror 1, 2 podcasts ago. Yeah, so we're loving the Bart Bird episodes. We should do Bart the Mother now.
Yeah.
Because then that will be the holy trinity of Bart Bird episodes, because that's a thing for some reason. Maud. I just wrote Maud in, like, all caps.
Yeah, because I was like, oh, we're going to get... Like, did they bring her voice actress back again for a little cameo? And no.
Dead. If that had been me.
If I had been in that water.
Dead. Okay, so... Oh, God.
Probably most of you are wondering what we're talking about.
Oh, man, the G.I. Joe voiceover shorts. We need to just watch those just in general, just as people and not podcasters. But yeah. Of course, Maud's the first one to get killed. That just works out. And it's also very sudden.
It's very sudden, but a lot of detail went into that animation.
Oh, yeah. My goodness. I had like an audible gasp when that happened. And, yeah, it's woof. So that's when we're introduced to, almost like Quimby, Wiggum, Lou, and what's the other? I always forget the other cop's name. The not Lou cop.
Oh, I said Quimby before too. I meant Wiggum.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Oh, well.
So there's...
Who's the other cop? Because it's Lou and...
I feel like it's sort of the C?
Wiggum, and it's not Kearney. It's Clyde.
Yes.
We're going to call him Clyde.
And like with all things, we can just use the magic of editing and the lips won't match.
His name was Mr. Black. Oh, dear God. So Lou says, oh, the muskets take, oh, God, I can't read my...
Was it like 3 of good God's minutes or
yeah,
something?
3 of the Lord's minutes. And they're all talking in that very, oldie-timey
New
kind of...
King James version.
Yes, of talking. This is where I just wrote dough because Homer did a cute dough in the turkey gobble, and I love it. When we got to this part, I just wrote down, who would have thought this would work?
But it did.
But it does, exactly. And I wonder, this is one of those things where I feel like whoever originally thought of this idea, they approached someone, they're like, well, let's do a Thanksgiving of horror instead of Treehouse of Horror, and they're like, and clutching their monocles and all that, and then someone's like, wait, hold on a second, that might actually work, and how the heck it somehow did.
Yeah.
I liked this better than the last Treehouse of Horror.
A scary Thanksgiving.
I know. Like, what the heck? I hope they do this again. They didn't do this for 2 years after. But I'm hoping that we get a Thanksgiving of Horror 2 sometime.
Well, I wonder how many, families all got together and
oh, dear God.
Oh, there's a Thanksgiving special. Let's get Grandma and Grandpa and watch this together.
And there goes Marge.
There's her eye.
Yep. Somebody please think of the children. Which is something that's referenced in this. So somebody please think of the Pilgrims. Oh, goodness. Something I was thinking, the mouths of the turkeys, they fit really well to the way the Simpsons mouths are designed. Like, just the whole, like, Homer's beard segment thing fits perfectly to the beak.
And they did a good job of, like Grandpa Turkey, like, having, like, the wrinkled skin and everything. Like, they just adapted all of the characters to turkey form really well.
You could tell they had a lot of fun with this. And we, as the audience, have fun along with them.
Like Sideshow Mel had the stick.
Yeah, I loved that. It was just like a little tree stick. Oh my God. And the fire thing seemed a bit contrived. Like, I feel like they were just like, we need a reason for the place to be on fire. Let's have Milhouse think there's witchcraft.
Yeah.
Randomly. And I don't know. I didn't like that part. It seemed a little kind of thrown in there.
Yeah.
But, I mean, it barely brings the episode down. The rest of it's great.
Well, and just before that, too, we had the very aggressive turkey preparations.
Oh, yes. Holy heck.
Like, they put... I don't know if it's because it was meant to be from the turkey's point of view, but they were, like, angry getting those birds ready.
It's very, like, fierce pulling and stuffing, and the turkey's faces are all like... Ugh. Yeah. Oh, and the crows. Oh my God. That was another thing that I thought was just going to be a small gag, and it turned out to be really violent. Where Lou and, what did we call him? Cisco.
It'll be a different name every time.
Lou and Cisco knock over the scarecrow. And of course that makes all the crows come at once.
Yep.
And at first you're like, oh, that's funny. And then they just horribly mutilate them. As it was back in Pilgrim times.
Yeah. walk up all happy, like ready to join.
Yeah.
And then
Just
it was back
very
away.
slowly. They should have had a bush there. That would have been.
Oh, to back into.
Yeah, that might have been too referential, but yeah, that was great too. I love that moment. Oh God, so Wiggum uses the snuff, which I don't know enough about that kind of stuff. Was that
Yeah.
pretty much just drugs from back then? I'm
I don't
guessing.
know.
Yeah.
Did you get the little pun he did there?
What?
Where he said, "Look, there's free birds. Let's Skinner them."
Oh, because of Leonard Skinner. Oh my God! You know, at the moment I was looking, I'm like, they don't even look like Principal Skinner, but because it's Leonard Skinner. Oh my God! I wouldn't have caught that. I love it when they throw that kind of stuff in that you only really get it if you're like paying close attention. So yeah, then the snuff, he like stuffs it up his nose and his eyes get all big. And any time on The Simpsons when their eyes get big, like with the battling seizure robots or the I'm not licking toads. I'm not licking toads.
I bring you love.
Yes, and I bring you love. Those moments always freaked me out as a kid and a little bit now. Like,
Yeah.
it just looks wrong when their pupils are so big.
Didn't he do it again, too?
He did it several times.
Yeah, and then he
yeah.
dilates more and more.
Oh, I don't like that. I don't like it. And his voice changes a bit, too.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he chases them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh, and they've got the egg. I didn't mention the egg earlier. They've got an egg, and they're very protective of the egg. And, of course, you know, there's no Maggie yet, so we all know what's going to be in the egg. And he gets a little sneaky where he's like, "Oh, I have the egg," and
Yeah.
I didn't write enough notes for this scene.
No, well, we just watched it, too.
Yeah, we literally just watched this. And the bear kind of came out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not a perfect episode, but...
Yeah, I was trying to think of, what's the name of it? There's a word for it in writing, and it means God of the Machine, and I can't remember what it's actually called. But it's basically when, like, a super powerful being just fixes a situation in a story.
I'm thinking, like, plot armor.
Ooh, yeah, plot armor. But you usually don't have plot armor in these kind of segments.
Yeah.
But I guess they would give plot armor to the baby, because I don't think they ever kill Maggie. I don't think they've ever killed Maggie. That would be a little too much.
Maggie has done killing, though.
Oh, yes, definitely, all the time. Okay, it was Deus Ex Machina, means God of the Machine, and it's basically in a story when, like, a super powerful being just fixes the situation. So, that was the bear.
I didn't know that was the meaning behind that.
Yeah.
Makes a lot of stories make sense to me now.
It was actually, okay, here's like my college screenwriting classes coming back. But it was basically originated from like Greek times when literally their stories would just have like, Zeus fixed it.
A wizard did it.
A wizard did it. Anytime you see something like that, a wizard did it. Yeah, that's true. That's true. All right, so Bear saves the day. And then I put "aw, holy crap" in my writing. So that was, of course, because of Maggie being born and using the pine cone as a pacifier, which is adorable.
Yeah.
And then does the bear? Oh, the bear eats Wiggum.
Yeah.
And then
like rips off his arm.
Oh, okay. Now I remember. Okay, yeah, like the bear like completely tears him apart.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oof. So yeah, it's like you get it does that a lot in this episode where you get this really sweet, adorable moment and then sudden violence. But that also doesn't ruin the adorable moment. Suddenly.
Just then.
I, the evil mathematician, shall capture all of the children and force them to do homework forever. Alright, so that's it for Agabalipto, and I enjoyed it a lot.
Yeah, it was not the usual Simpsons that I'm used to, but that's part of why I liked it.
Yeah, I was impressed with it. I really enjoyed it. I would watch this again. I would go back for seconds. Okay. Okay, Mrs. Krabappel. All right, so now we've got the fourth Thursday after tomorrow. Which I feel like it isn't the best name for it.
I don't know. It's chillingly plausible.
The fourth Thursday after tomorrow?
Just because they said that twice in the episode.
Oh, yeah. Oh, God. I liked that. I liked that callback. I actually wrote chillingly plausible 2x. I liked this segment a lot too, and I would put this as my second favorite out of 3. I don't like the name.
Yeah.
Because it reminds me of Day After Tomorrow, which is about something completely different. And isn't Thanksgiving the 3rd Thursday in the month?
That's what I was thinking.
So why didn't they put 3rd? I don't like the name, but I like the rest of this one. So we start out with Marge in a blank void. And I feel like it's a great way to start this because you're already kind of like asking what the heck's going on.
It puts you into where you're just as confused as the character is.
Which is great. And that's something I love about this segment is that you are put in this character's perspective, which you will find out more. I put this as some Black Mirror stuff, and later on it references Black Mirror like several times. So nice. This was a very direct spoof. Yeah, I loved Homer saying, like, I sent your DNA in, just like the beginning of a sci-fi movie where they become the villains and all that.
But it's not like that.
But it's not like that. So we get Marge. We figure out that Marge that we're seeing is actually the artificial intelligence in this, like, robot that controls the kitchen. And real Marge is kind of, like, a little taken aback by it at first.
Yeah. And he's pretty cold to her, knowing that she has all the memories.
Yeah. It's kind of messed up here. And the fact that we are following the AI instead of following actual Marge really changes the perspective. Because if this had been like the Pierce Brosnan episode...
I was just going to say that.
Like, you don't care about him in that.
Hello, Marge.
Hello, Marge. And, which I rewatched that recently, and it was weird because, like, the kids were like, yeah, he's James Bond, and Marge was like, he's James Bond? And now he hasn't been Bond for, like, now Craig is done. Like, dang, time is weird. But anyways, I digress. I just put poor fake Marge, because you feel bad for her.
Yeah, well, like, without warning, to be put into solitary confinement, and... thing is, too, if she's artificial intelligence, she probably doesn't sleep.
Yeah.
So she's had that full 2 weeks of solitary consciousness in a white void.
Yeah. Dang.
No reference for day or night.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, I feel bad for AI Marge. But more things happen. She says at one point, like, when she's talking about, like doing all the chores and all of that, Marge says, I like its attitude. Like, it's... Real Marge is a jerk during this.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, Homer is too, but, like, the fact that it's a version of yourself, you think you'd have some sort of emotional connection. So they talk about their memories, and they talk about, like, their first kiss with Homer.
Yeah.
And how his breath smelled like beer and gas station nachos.
And they both are like, aww.
Yeah. And not to nitpick, but how does it have her memories when all they gave it was DNA?
Science.
Wizard did it!
Science rules.
Yeah. So, obviously, I mean, this is a Simpsons episode. It doesn't have to be...
Well, I like, too, that... I thought it was interesting that, you know, Homer puts her in solitary confinement for 2 weeks. There's all these questions about loyalty and obedience and all this. And then one of the first things they do is give her a knife.
Yep. That's not a good idea. That's a bad idea, Jeans. Yeah, it's, it gets weird. So we have Marge kicking Homer out of bed. And Homer goes downstairs and talks to the robot instead. And he's flirting with it. And then they start kind of, like, talking. You can't really hear what they're saying. And you think it's something, you know, like, inappropriate. And, of course, instead she's making him food.
Well, I like, too, that when she's making him a beer, that she opens the fridge door, and it's all beers inside, and then opens up the freezer, and it's all frozen mugs.
Oh my god. I didn't notice that part. Oh, I haven't had a frozen mug in forever. We used to be all about those frozen mugs.
I need to get some. Those are nice.
Yeah.
Like the ones with the liquid inside that you can freeze.
Yeah. So we have Marge coming in, and Homer going, they were just midnight pork chops. And she asks about deactivating her, and he says, "I paid extra for it to feel pain."
Yeah, like that.
That's
First of all,
sinister.
not just that it being cruel, but just a stupid waste of money.
Yeah, like what the heck, Homer?
I imagine that sleazy salesman guy's like, "Hey, you can
Hey.
for an extra $1,000, you can make it feel pain."
The mustache guy.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. So AI Marge tries to access the internet. I can't remember the actual reasoning behind that.
It's just wanting to get out.
Oh yeah, that's right. Okay, that makes sense.
Turns
And-
into the firewall.
And it has a firewall, which made me think of Reboot,
Yeah, I did
because
too.
they had the actual firewall and
Yeah,
that
the whole
musical,
song.
the musical opening,
Such a
and
cheesy song.
oh man, I love it. I love that they brought back the time thing.
The time thing. Oh,
So-
the
Yeah.
passage of time.
So, I don't know if we said it, if we went into it too far earlier, but Homer turns a clock thing that makes it so that she experiences 2 weeks in like 3 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
And they bring it back, but she sets it to like 8 years or something.
It's a long time to take to come up with a plan.
But she came up with this plan. The plan doesn't seem intricate enough to take 8 years.
Yeah.
Like, I would have said like 2 years or like.
So she worked on it for a couple
year.
hours and then just passed out.
Yeah. So I think I saw something on the TV. So they invite all the people over for Thanksgiving. Oh yeah, I didn't even mention. So they say that they're going to have her prepare Thanksgiving dinner, and then afterwards they're going to kill her.
Yeah.
And that's when she does the whole passage of time thing. There was a Black Mirror reference on the TV for like 0.5 seconds.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was the whole thing with the politician and the pig, which I've never.
Yeah.
I've never seen it, but I know the entire plot, and I have a lot of secondhand knowledge of different, intellectual properties. But yeah, they show Mayor Quimby and a pig on the TV for like half a second.
Oh, okay.
And it's like obviously referencing that because that's,
See,
yeah.
I was expecting when she's in the little tube thing
Mm-hmm.
trying to hear, I was expecting the whole 2001 Space Odyssey thing where it like reads the lips.
Yeah.
I feel like that would have been better, but may have gone over more heads.
Yeah, it might have. It might have.
Because even the year that movie was supposed to take place
Is already so far.
was 20 years ago.
Oh boy. Whew. So when real Marge takes credit for the dinner, am I allowed to say the B word?
I think so.
She's talking about a dog. So then I'm allowed to say it. She goes, "That bitch." And
I love Angry Marge.
I love Angry Marge. Angry Marge is great. Angry AI Marge is also great. We have the AI trying to get to the modem, and it goes through like all the legs in the table.
Yeah.
Which is cute.
I like what she called it. R2 Me Too.
Yeah, R2 Me Too, that's cute. Basically, that's the part that probably took her the longest during the years. Yeah, because she had to figure out how to put that together really fast with just things she had access to. So that kind of makes sense now.
Okay. Chillingly plausible.
Chillingly plausible. Oh, man, that's pretty great if we have a quotable line from this that we could carry with us.
Yeah.
Because that doesn't happen on a lot of more recent episodes. So it almost gets to the modem, and real Marge stops it. And it is kind of... It's weird, because you can kind of see both sides to this. Because if there was an AI made of me, I would probably feel pretty angry and scared by it. But if I was the AI, I would just want to survive.
Yeah.
So it's really a lot of layers to this.
Okay, so if you were an AI copy of yourself and real you was trying to kill AI you, would you as AI you kill real you? A weird question.
Yeah, because I wonder if I guess I'd need to know. And then is it considered self-defense if you're technically killing a version of yourself? Because then
I don't know.
it's not really...
Because if human you was in danger, you
Yeah.
would go after the AI to protect yourself.
Yeah.
Is that logic ethical the other way around?
Yeah. Makes you think. It's chillingly plausible.
The ethics of seasonal Simpsons episodes.
Yes. I love the moment of Maggie trying to take it to the modem, and it says, "I can play you the first thing you ever heard," and it was her heartbeat.
Yeah.
That kind of got me in the heart a little bit myself.
Well, that kind of just shows that AI Marge is still basically human.
Yeah.
Still sympathetic, still a good mom.
She still cares for Maggie and understands her and understands what she wants and needs. Even though it was a little bit manipulative, but I don't know, there's a lot of layers to this.
Yeah.
Man, I was not expecting to go into ethics with, Thanksgiving of Horror.
As many layers as an ogre.
Yeah. Or an onion.
Ogres have layers.
So,
Sorry.
we are becoming the Shrek siblings. We're just going to talk about the movie Shrek.
The Shreklings.
We won't talk about any of the other ones, just the first one.
Yeah.
Every episode. That would be terrible. Although you could probably do that with Emperor's New Groove.
Yeah.
Yeah, you probably could.
Yeah. I was trying to think of a way to argue against that, but...
But you can't. All right. I don't know how much of this I'm going to cut.
Yeah. Well, we also have Robot Homer.
Oh, yeah. That was a weird ending.
Yeah. Like, where did that come from?
Yeah. It was... Which, the fact that he is a robot, looking back at the rest of the episode, is that what caused him to bond more with AI than real Marge?
Maybe.
Maybe.
Where's real Homer?
I don't know. I thought maybe he, died and she replaced him or something, but she was surprised.
Maybe. Yeah.
Or was she
Maybe
surprised?
she was just she was used to that veil being there.
Yeah. Yeah, and it was like, oh god. And then in that way, is that sort of a double standard that she wants to kill her own robot, but not the robot of her husband?
There's a lot to this one.
Wow, I was not expecting to talk about this much, but dang. So that was our second story. And, of course, following the common Treehouse of Horror format, unless you take into account the most recent Treehouse of Horror, which had 5 segments, this one has 3.
Yeah.
Yes, which tangent, I didn't like the 5 segments. I think it was too short of a time. They were all underdeveloped, and I didn't like it.
Yeah, it's not enough time to...
It's not enough time.
Fed it out.
I liked the one before that, but I didn't like that one. Anyways, I digress. Last Thanksgiving... Was that just the name of it?
Yeah.
Wow, that's a...
Yeah.
It's a name.
I don't know how I felt about this one. I honestly didn't take a lot of notes on it, because... I don't know, I didn't feel like there was a lot of substance to it.
I feel like this should have been the middle one, because usually the middle segment is the one that's a little bit less fun. And I feel like this should have been the middle segment, because they could have really gone out on a bang. If they had I feel like they should have put this one in the middle, the robot one first, and the first one last. Yeah. I think would have been perfect, because you reel them in with the whole robot thing, and then you have the middle where it's okay, and then you go out with a bang with the turkey one.
Yeah.
So I'm going to write a letter.
You do that.
And obviously they can't change anything now, so I don't know why I would do that. I wrote down, though, boy, there's a lot of difference in these, because you really can't fault them that they picked 3 completely different settings, completely different situations, and yet also had them about Thanksgiving. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Also, idea for Thanksgiving of Horror 2, they should definitely have the floats come alive.
That's a good idea.
A la the advertising coming alive in the Treehouse of Horror. That would be amazing.
That would be cool.
They could do so much with that. Yeah, they should do that. I predict that happening. If that happens, I can say that I predicted it. So we're starting out with sort of a generational ship sort of thing. They call them generation ships or something, where they freeze everybody.
And I was trying to tell, the ship design, was it kind of, alien? the movie Alien, or what? It
little
seemed
bit.
familiar, but I couldn't quite place
It
it.
seemed like, especially with the monster, it seemed like they were referencing Alien a little bit. I mean, a monster on a spaceship is automatically going to put Alien memories.
Yeah.
So Earth is gone. Everyone's kind of
For a
frozen.
hilarious reason.
Yes. Yeah, and we've got Principal Skinner, his sort of, his AI, I guess, saying, if you've seen this, I'm long dead. Well, it was probably more of a recording.
And all the kids cheer.
Yay! Oh my god, they are brutal. And they're sort of like teaching them how to grow up after, the world has ended. And they talk about like making end of world dioramas.
Yeah.
The diorama rama.
I love, too, that it's all the kids that are up to do the mundane tasks before the adults wake up.
Yep. Yeah, I didn't even think of it that way until the end because, yeah, they.
Well, he said that, too.
Oh, he did?
Yeah. Yeah, he said you're tasked all the mundane tasks
Oh my
before the
gosh.
adults wake up.
I didn't catch that part for some reason.
Kind of the plot mechanic for why the kids are there, but not.
I can kind of see them like being a bit grumpy about that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Especially because there's a lot more worth to kids when there's not a lot of them left anymore.
Yeah.
They're gonna carry on humanity and all that. So some of the kids decide to have Thanksgiving, since they've just recently defrosted and they want to celebrate. And I thought that was an interesting choice because I know that they said like the date coincided or something, but kids don't usually get very excited about Thanksgiving. Like you think they would have picked Halloween or something, but I mean they had to make it work with the story.
Well, it's because the episode came out around Thanksgiving that they had to do that.
Yes. And they go to the replicator machine and he goes zip zap zorp and then the buttons literally say zip zap zorp. That was pretty good. I liked that. Professor Frink gives this huge warning about not doing what they're going to do.
Yeah.
Which is to duplicate the cranberry sauce, which I hate cranberry sauce.
But do you like real cranberry sauce that's made?
I don't like cranberries.
I don't know how to talk to you about this then.
That's the whole thing is I don't like cranberries, so I'm not going to like the sauce, the juice, the homemade version of the sauce or the juice, which made this segment even more terrifying for me.
I'm sorry. It was your fears personified.
Exactly. I've had this dream before. Anyways, Professor Frink gives this huge, long recorded warning, which they completely skip over.
I love how he's just like, skip ad.
Skip ad. Of course, the cranberry sauce comes alive. And that's when all, the gross out stuff happens.
Yeah. Well, I like to Professor Frink, at the very end, he says, and the living will envy the dead.
Yeah, that's pretty foreboding. Yikes. I think this one's the grossest out of the three of them.
Yeah, they put a lot into, the bones.
Mm-hmm.
When it first attacks Milhouse's arm, even that was pretty. It's very quick, but you see the bone coming out and then dissolving, and it's just oh.
Yeah, poor Milhouse. Of course it happens to Milhouse first. But I just wrote the Nelson death was ... Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was intense. And they sort of, the gelatinous thing where since they're gelatinous, they're going to want bones. I mean, it made some sense.
Yeah.
It was chillingly plausible. They do a lot of gags with Milhouse's arm too, because it's kind of just flopping around the whole time.
I like how instead of banging on the window, he uses his arm to pull up his flapping arm to bang the window.
Oh god, that makes no sense. And then he gets an arm wedgie from Nelson before he gets killed. Mm-hmm. And he gets slapped by his own hand. Someone just takes his hand and just slaps him, which is
fantastic. They should have done with Nelson to stop slapping yourself. So.
Oh, that would have been great. That would have been great. The off-camera massacre, because they're trying to warn all the kids about the gelatinous thing coming after them. And they show the shadows of it. Mm-hmm. And that's almost creepier, just,
Yeah. Well, they've already shown so much so far. I wonder if there was like a limit to the quantity of death they could show
I
for
don't
the
know.
network censors.
I'd be curious if the censors have that in like an amount form versus a, if you show it once, you're essentially just showing the same thing again. But I don't know, maybe there is a quantity thing about it.
But just remember too, this is a Disney show.
This is a Disney show now. Well, they weren't bought by
Yeah.
anyone. But yeah, I think about that when I watch some modern Simpsons. I'm like, this is a Disney show. Yeah. Okay, so they all go running, and I kind of like that it's Bart, Lisa, and Milhouse doing the running, because it's the same group that was left over when they were about to be eaten in Nightmare Cafeteria.
I was thinking that too. Mm-hmm. Surely something will save the Simpsons children.
Yes. And we have Bart's laser slingshot, which I thought was just like a cool gadget.
Yeah.
And you predicted Martin turning against them.
Yeah.
Yep. And he gives a pretty, like, nuts speech where he's like, we can take over without any more of that stupid morality and all of that.
Yeah.
And whoa, Martin, I didn't know you'd gone that
and then
dark.
the way he strips down and then backs into it, and he doesn't even get to finish his sentence. It's like mid-sentence he dies. And...
Yeah, like, holy heck. And then the blob throws his skin at the wall, and it, like...
Yeah, I have in my notes, Martin's skin drop.
Oh!
Which is weird to write. But...
Yeah, I don't like that. I wrote skin falling down, which also doesn't feel right.
Yeah.
Also, I love how the gelatinous blob just instinctively wants to live in a can.
Yeah.
That's just sort of in its DNA or whatever it is. That they built this giant can for it. So they lure it like into the airlock and try to blow it out, and it kind of grabs part of the ship and rips it open.
Yeah.
And the ship lands on the planet, and everyone wakes up. Oh, and then the rain part.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, which it gets into like a weird ending too.
Yeah, so it rains the gelatinous blob, and it kind of reforms, but then there's like these aliens that save them, and then they have a Thanksgiving dinner. And they say like the blob wants to be eaten?
Yeah, like that was just, I was just like, what?
Which is just another reason why this one should have been put in the middle.
Yeah.
Because they could have done a really good ending with the first one.
And I feel like it could have gone after some of the adults too.
Yeah, I feel like it could have been... they could have gone for the downer ending with, like, it just killing everyone. It would have been really creepy.
Yeah.
But they didn't feel like that, I guess. And I don't know, the aliens kind of come out of nowhere and...
Yeah.
It kind of ends on a which is a shame because the rest of the episode is so good.
Yeah, you want to end on that, like, the wow.
Yeah, and it doesn't really do that. But the rest of the episode is still really great. And I do like parts of this segment, just not as a whole. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, and then we get the credits, which had Bart's Thanksgiving float with this really chilling music over it. And it's just completely uncut. Just Bart Thanksgiving float with foreboding music.
Yeah.
That was pretty good.
That would make a good YouTube channel, like audio tracks that don't match the video track.
Yes. Oh, that'd be great.
Like NASCAR with some like piano music or...
That'd be great. Oh my god. Someone should do that. Country music over like...
C-SPAN.
Oh my god. My god. Rap music and just like a flowing creek.
We can do this all day.
Yeah. Oh my god, that was a lot.
It was a wild ride.
I feel like these ones, because I did the editing on the Treehouse of Horror episodes, they were long. Like, our Treehouse of Horror 5 one was longer than the actual episode.
Nice.
Like, it was like 45 minutes. And I think it's because we have to break down 3 things. And these are always, like, jam-packed with things happening.
Yeah, there's always, like, the intro, all the elements, and then wrapping up and how it all ties together.
I'm kind of looking forward to having a normal episode next time. Which, thankfully, our next episode is going to be a normal episode. We are taking a couple weeks off for Thanksgiving, so there won't be any podcasts for a couple weeks. We're taking a couple weeks off. This one will be in December 8th. That will be our next episode. And we want to give a huge thank you to Timothy Burleson for suggesting this episode. We do like to have our patrons suggest episodes every once in a while, so check out our Patreon at the link below if you want to check that out. So yeah, watch Bart vs. Australia for December 8th, and watching the episode will make the podcast episode even more fun.
Yeah.
That's not what I usually say, but I want to be done with this. We made a lot of mistakes that we cut out of this one. So until then, Happy Thanksgiving, everybody!